The lead WHO investigator speaking out tonight in a Danish documentary suggesting that patient zero may have been a lab worker in Wuhan. Dr. Peter Embarek led an international team of scientists in January to look into the origins of COVID in Wuhan. He now says it's possible a lab employee could have been infected by a bat during field work. No definitive conclusion made here. He's simply saying it's a possibility. Dr. Embarek also opening up about the pressure his team received from Chinese officials who he says wanted no mention of the lab leak theory in the final report. In the end, he says the WHO team did mention the lab, quote, on the condition we didn't recommend any specific studies to further that hypothesis. The final report considered the lab leak theory, quote, highly unlikely. The scenario considered most likely was spread from animal to human in a natural setting. The WHO's research mission was stymied by a lack of access and data from the Chinese, particularly on the issue of the lab. In May, President Biden ordered the U.S. intelligence agency to conduct a 90-day review of the evidence. That report expected by the end of this month. As for the WHO, it has called for a second investigation, but China's rejected that offer, and it did so just last month. The organization says all theories remain on the table. We welcome back Jamie Metzel to the program, an advisor to the WHO, former State Department senior advisor during the Clinton era, now a senior fellow at the Atlantic Council. Jamie, from day one, you have been outspoken on the need to consider this lab leak theory. What was your reaction to what Dr. Embarek said? Did he fill any holes in for you, or is it still very equivocal?
Well, he didn't fill any holes in, but it's been obvious certainly to me, and I think most other serious observers from day one, that there's a very real possibility this pandemic stems from an accidental lab incident in Wuhan. And it's great that Dr. Ben Embarek, who was part of, I hate to say this, and especially as a fan of the WHO, but this international study was a sham from day one because the Chinese government had negotiated essentially control over the entire process, veto power over who got to be part of the international team. And now we're seeing from this report, they essentially controlled what could and couldn't be in their report. So myself and many of us thought it was absolutely outrageous when this international team said that they believed that a lab incident origin was extremely unlikely, and they didn't recommend further investigation of it. But now it looks like they didn't even believe that, and they were being pressured by the Chinese government. And all of this comes together to make us to know that everybody on Earth should be demanding a full investigation into pandemic origins, including the very real possibility that all of this stems from an accidental lab incident.
Do you think we'll ever know?
Yes. I mean, we will know if we have an investigation. No international investigation has yet been mandated, and there was no U.S. national systematic investigation, in spite of all the huffing and puffing under the Trump administration, since until the 90-day review that President Biden authorized. So if we want to get to the bottom of this, we need a full investigation. We need access to the resources in China. We need to secure a whistleblower provision so that scientists in China can speak up and not fear imprisonment.
But what or who do you think will be able to prevail on China to give the access and the openness that's required to get to the bottom of it? Why would you have any hope that that would happen?
I certainly hope that China will make the resources, the samples, the records, the personnel available, but we shouldn't have any illusions. China has basically told the rest of the World Health Organization, the relatives of the perhaps 10 million people who've died from COVID, essentially to go to hell, and they aren't going to allow any investigation. But we have outlined, we meaning our group of experts around the world who have been coordinating on 4 open letters that have appeared in every newspaper essentially in the world. We've listed a full set of resources that are available outside of China, including genetic materials and other resources. And again, we need a full investigation with access to all the resources that are available to have the best possible chance of getting to the bottom of this. And there's much more that we can do even without Chinese participation.
Jamie Metzl, thank you for your opinions and insights tonight. We thank you very much.